What is going on, my beautiful people? How are you? It's been a minute since I did a bathroom chat. So by popular demand, I've been getting a lot of requests for bathroom chats. People are like, what happened to your bathroom chats? I learned so much from those. So I wanted to jump back on here, and I will be doing these weekly again over the next couple weeks. I'll do them again even over the holidays because I know some of you miss seeing me, so thank you for that. Anyway, so those of you who've never been to a bathroom chat, this is where I jump online as I'm getting ready for work, and talk to you about what the real estate market is doing. I have to say I'm a little upset to start out with. I'm not using my normal hair product, which is the American Crew Pomade, the heavy edition. The reason I like that one is because it makes my hair glossy, which is what I like. But my Empire Beauty Supply closed in Hillcrest, closed in Mission Valley. Now I gotta go down to Point Loma. So I got this stuff called Suavecito, which I actually like. This one is a strong clay. I just don't like it as much as my other ones, but I digress. So let's talk about real estate. Let's talk about what's happening in the market. So a lot of you are wondering, is there going to be a market crash? That is the biggest thing that I get, the biggest question I get from all of you. Now, I always tell you, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to 100% happen. But let's talk about what I do know. And what I do know is this. The real estate market is much different from what it was when in 2008. So a lot of people are predicting there's going to be some major market crash because everybody was overpaying for houses. And you know, that may be the case. There were a lot of people who did overpay for houses over the last couple of years. It was insane. I mean, it was absolutely insane. I think if I could have taken a nap for about 30 days, I would have done that because it was nuts. But here's the difference from 2008 until this market cycle. So in 2008, there was a lot of funny money that was going around, and there were those what people call liar loans. And the liar loans, for those of you that don't know, are the loans that, you know, if you had a pulse and you could fog up a mirror, you could get a loan. That's just not the case anymore. Ever since the market crashed in the Great Recession in 2008, you're not able to get those. You have to document your income on all those loans. And I will say, you know, even in 2005, the lender I was working with when I got my first condo, I had money to put down, and she was like, "Oh, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that." I'm washing my hands, by the way. Anyway, she was like, "Oh, you don't have to do that. You don't have to. You know, we'll just get this 100% financing." I ended up selling that condo and making $232 on it. I didn't have to short sale it. I did sell it at the right time. Of course, at that time, I was also licensed. So I didn't have to, you know, pay myself a commission. So here's my point. 2008 and today are much different markets, okay? Much different markets. And so because you have those full documentation loans that you've had to do since 2008, the likelihood of us having a housing crisis due to foreclosures because of loans is very slim. I will say this, and hold on one second, John, I'll bring you on, just 1 second. Don't go anywhere. But what I will say is this. There were people that did pay a lot more for homes, and the prices of those homes have come down since they purchased them in 2021 and the beginning of 22. So if you are someone who has to sell, let's say you bought in June or July of 2020, and all of a sudden you have to sell, the value of your home is going to be less than what you paid for it. So that would be an interest where a place where we could come into a short sale. Okay, so if you're in that mode, that is what you could do. But if I were you, I'd probably just rent out the property and keep it. I wouldn't try to sell it for less than. But that is one of the things that that we could start seeing an issue on. inflation keeps, rearing its ugly head. Everything's expensive. I was complaining the other day. Every time I go to the grocery store, it's $77, 77, $80, and I'm only getting a bag of groceries. So everybody's feeling that pinch as well. Gas prices, fortunately, are starting to come down as well. But a lot of banks, credit card companies are urging you not to use your credit cards at this time. So I never bring anyone on my bathroom chats, but let's bring John on real quick because John's a lender. He's a lender that I've worked with in the past. It says we're adding him, but we'll see when he pops up. I've never added anyone to a bathroom chat before. It says he's joining. He's fuzzy.
Hey.
Oh, there you are. We're on a split screen. I love it.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. You know, it was by accident because when I love watching your bathroom chats, and when I clicked on it, it said I had to have you request me to join. So I must have fat fingered it, and I got into your bathroom. Man, this is exciting.
Not many people get here, let me tell you.
Hey. Well, congratulations on the family getting expanded big time, and because not one corgi, you went two, so that's so cool.
We ended up accidentally with two. Accidentally, it wasn't by design. It was by accident that we got the second.
Well, we have two here as well. Both my daughters, they each have a brother and sister that they share together. So
nice,
and exact colors of yours.
Nice.
Hey, I was listening to what you were saying, and we are definitely seeing. Where you've kept, you obviously have your sphere of influence, an area that you really focus on. And it's funny as San Diego has been such an interesting market over the last 6 months, and where I thought I was going to see a ton of homes underwater, my opinion has completely changed for San Diego. The house across the street just sold for $110,000 more than their list price. They had multiple offers. Yeah. And so I think it's just different demographics that we've been seeing that up in Riverside, we're seeing builders reduce their sales prices. They're actually showing basic prices a lot cheaper.
Well, that's one of the things I also wanted to mention is because there was an article that came out in The Real Deal this week that said that Lennar is selling 5,000 of its homes in the Southwest to big investors. And those investors are not turning around and putting those homes on the market. They're actually taking those homes and making them rentals.
Correct.
And the price of rents is going up higher than the rate at what mortgages are going up. Because in San Diego, a landlord can increase rent up to 10% annually, whereas your interest rate, even if it's at 7%, you're still saving yourself 3% annually. Mm-hmm. And that payment is locked in forever. It's unless, of course, you refinance it down, and then it goes down. Right. But that is the other thing that I was going to mention is there's a lot of home builders that want to offload their property depending on their fiscal year.
Correct.
Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me that in Riverside that is happening a lot. I haven't seen that as much in San Diego, but yeah, when I read that article that Lennar was doing that, I found that quite interesting.
Some big builders in Nevada right now are actually they're pulling their existing homes that they have sold, or anybody that's backed out, they've basically not put it back on the market. They're turning it into a rental. Yeah. And so some of the builders have said, we're just going to get into the rental game, and they're putting people into these homes. The problem that you run into when that happens is there's the one Fannie Mae rule that one entity in a PUD, in a condominium development, cannot own more than X amount of percentages of properties, or it's not a Fannie Mae approved property.
Right.
So there's going to be some things later on down the road that I think that are going to be a concern for a lot of people. But right now, you've all heard the marry the house, date the rate. Mm-hmm. And I think the most important thing is if you can buy now, there is a reason to buy. There is definitely a reason to buy. There is a good opportunity. We're definitely seeing some retraction in rates. Nothing to write home about, but we are seeing some retraction. And we're seeing the difference in the payment of $300 to $500 max. And
well, what's interesting too is, and I was having this conversation with someone else, and I was going to make a different video about it. But the interesting thing is back in 20, let's say June of 20, things were nuts up until, let's say, June of 2022. If a house was coming on the market for $800,000, it was selling for $1 million or 1.1 million, at 3 whatever percent, right? Today, that same $800,000 house, you might get it for list price or maybe a slight bit below. You might get some closing costs, you might get credit.
right.
And the interest rate is, in the sixes today. That difference in those two payments is minimal today. And you might be paying a higher interest rate, but your payment difference between the million at 3% and the 800 or 750 at 6.75%, the difference in the payment is, dollars. It's not like thousands of dollars.
No, it isn't. And a lot of people are so hyper focused on an interest rate. And, all the years that we've all been buying homes, we've always, as human beings, we've always said, what's the rate? Really, in the end, you need to be concerned as a homeowner, as a potential new buyer, is what's my payment? Because when I buy a car, you don't ever ask what the interest rate is, what the car is, because when they come out to sit down with you with the 4 squares and they go, this is what your payment's going to be with $5,000 down. Well, they've already factored in that. That is the philosophy that I try to bring to the table, is let's teach you what's most important is the payment. Can you afford this payment? If you can, you should buy, because right now sellers, some sellers feel that they've kind of lost, the opportunity. So they're still on the fence. They still want to sell, but now they realize they're not losing very much by still getting list price and offloading $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 worth of closing credit, instead of, why don't we just lower the sales price $100,000, get a whole bunch of people to come in. Let's just keep it up and say, hey, we're going to offer money to give towards a 2-1 buy down, a rate buy down, closing costs. Definitely seeing a lot more of that in the last 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely seeing that. And then and this is the other thing, I'll let you speak to this. A lot of people have this misunderstanding that you have to put 20% down to buy a house, and that's just not the case.
No.
And I'll let you speak to that about the different programs. But the other thing that I want people to keep in mind is the California Association of Realtors sent real estate agents a website that I can put in any address for any home in San Diego County, and that will spit back all the grant programs, all the down payment assistance programs that this house could qualify for. So in one instance, one of my properties, I just happened to put the address in, and it qualified for 22 different grant programs for people to be able to buy the home. And that is money going towards like maybe 17%, and you come in 3% plus closing costs, stuff like that. But what was interesting is most realtors don't know about that. And most buyers don't know that they don't actually have to come in with all that money to make the purchase on a house. That
is so correct. There's a lot of things that I think we've always been said. You're right. The stigmata on buying a home has always been 20% down. People don't understand there's 3% down. There's the My Community programs. There's My Builder programs. There's all kinds of different programs out there. Thousands of grants. Each city, each zip code comes with X amount of grants, especially if the city's participating. Obviously, San Diego being such a big city with multiple zip codes inside that city of San Diego, their list of grants is all over the place. But a lot of people are afraid to buy a house right now because they're looking at a house that maybe needs a ton of work. A lot of people don't realize that there's great renovation purchase loans out there where you can actually get the house at a price that you can negotiate down to. And then you've got all this renovation money that you get from the government that helps you build that house, helps you put a pool in the backyard while you're closing escrow. There is lots of programs. We all, the VA, 100% financing, rural parts of San Diego County, USDA. You know, there's and that's again 100% financing on a civilian version of a VA loan. Then you have FHA. You just have multiple programs out there that are available to you, and people can get into a home. There's, you know, the qualifications aren't as stringent as everybody thinks they are. There is a lot of ability to expand on being able to get into a home, being able to come in with low down payment, and then be able to even finance some of those closing costs too, especially with the down payment assistance programs. There is some great programs out there.
Yeah, we should also note though that those coffers get filled at different times of the year. So like for example, when I was mentioning that this one particular house qualified for 22 different assistance programs, I think there were maybe 8 of them that were, and it says right in the thing, the money is gone for the year or whatever it said, but there were still, you know, 12 or 13 others to choose from, right? So they do get replenished at different times of the year.
Correct.
And so that's why, you know, as people are finishing out the year, you know, we're 2 weeks away from the year being over. Now's a good time if you're thinking about making that purchase that you want to buy. Now is a great time to start planning. So if you're like, hey, I want to be in a place by the third quarter, you know, the beginning of October next year, and you need to plan, like you need to bump up your credit score or save a little bit of money, this is the time to be doing that. So that way you can get ready and have that goal set. Do you help people, John, with that type of goal setting?
Absolutely. You know, there's no such thing. I mean, there's a lot of lenders out there that are more of they're very transactional based. Let's get them in, let's get them out, let's move them on. The one thing that, you know, with 28 years of experience, I've learned that you need to help people understand what's all the steps to become a homeowner. And sometimes there is planning involved. I mean, yes, you have your people that have 700, 800 FICO scores. They've got plenty of money to put down. They're ready to do something. Well, that's an anomaly right now. There's a lot of these younger kids that are learning how to buy something. Our biggest thing that we've been seeing over the last few years is there's been a lot of debt out there. Matter of fact, some of the highest debt ever reported in our country's history of over $16 trillion in credit card debt. So, and that's what's obviously boosted our inflation because people have just been spending like crazy. But
which was one thing I heard on NPR this morning. Calco's Credit Union was saying that, you know, they're encouraging people not to make big purchases on their credit cards right now, because I think lending institutions are seeing it come down the pike that they're like, I think maybe we shouldn't have given that extra boost to so-and-so on their credit card because now their debt to income ratio is gone, you know, has gone a little bit bonkers.
Well, and the biggest thing that people still aren't realizing is there's that 30-40% rule, we call it.
Yeah.
If whatever your limit is, you want to stay under 40% of your spending, and if you stay under 30, you actually get a bonus on your FICO scores. So the biggest encouragement I can give our younger kids that are actually trying to buy a home is look at your credit scores, look at your credit card debts, get them below that 40% mark, which will boost your scores up big time. And it shows that you're using your credit as a luxury, not as a necessity. The minute FICO understands that you're using your credit cards as a necessity, they start to bring your scores down, which then again makes it a little bit harder for us because now you're reporting a lower FICO score. You may be paying all your debt on time, but it's one of those things where you've got to manage that a little bit better. That's the best way to get into something, because the other thing, if you can pay some of that debt down, that eliminates the amount of debt that you're paying later on down the road when you actually get into a home. So the whole idea is let's create a plan of where you want to be from now till the time you're a homeowner, And if the plan's super aggressive, then we stick to that plan together. If the plan is very long-term, then we're checking in with you every few weeks to make sure you're still focused on that plan.
Nice. How do people get in touch with you?
There's a simple way. Obviously, in Facebook here, you can always reach out, ping me on Facebook through Mr. Spade here. He's definitely got my direct line. And then, for me, phone number for me is 619-250-5786. Give us a ring. We've got a great team of people here, and don't be afraid if your credit is bad, because we've actually worked with people that have been in the 400 FICOs, and within 6 months they were at a 700. We actually have an actual department that is focused on that only, and it's no cost to you. So there's ways to get you in. There's ways to make it happen.
Awesome. John, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Hey, thank you for sharing the counter space there. You have a lot of hair product there, but hey,
I got a few. I'm looking at 3 right now, but my favorite one, like I said in the beginning, the Empire Beauty closed in 2 locations. So now I got to go all the way to Point Loma to go get my hair product. Hopefully that one doesn't close.
I only wish that that I still keep the nice shiny piece, because a shiny cap is still good, but you have got a beautiful set of hair. So
thank you. It's going great. All right, see you later.
You guys have a great holiday. Thank you so much. And hey, you know what? This was a blessing. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. You have no idea how much of a blessing it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Have a safe day.